Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. On today's video I'm bringing you my review, demo, swatches and 5 eyeshadow looks using the brand new PAT McGRATH Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction eyeshadow palette. You must be sick and tired to be watching so many reviews on the new PAT McGRATH Mothership 10 Moonlit Seduction eyeshadow palette. Therefore, I want to say a big thank you for tuning in today. I'm going to give you different looks, swatches, a full-on review on this beauty right here. It finally arrived. I don't know why, but usually UPS, at least on my area, everything is getting delayed. Everything. If it's FedEx or other shipping method, it's not. Anyhow, sorry for the rant right here, but I received it and honestly the packaging looks so beautiful. It's made in Italy. I think by the time perhaps when you're watching this video, the palette will be available not only at PAT McGrath's website but also at different retailers. I will be leaving all the details of my makeup, this palette, absolutely everything will be on the description box below for your convenience. But look at this beauty. I mean, the artwork is always stunning. Lately she has been using a lot of like rose inspiration. The gold is so present right here. I'm like rose and gold, it's all over the place. And then this X right here stands for number 10 in Roman numbers for Mothership number 10. Wow, if this palette when it drops, honestly it was a little bit underwhelming for me, but then after looking to different images and mini video clips and reels from PAT McGrath, I started getting excited because I saw the potential and I cannot wait to try it. The palette has a shelf life of 18 months and let me show you this beauty. By the way, if you're new here to my channel, I do film in natural light. So hopefully this will give you a really good representation of how the palette is looking like if you were looking at it in person. You have your 4 special astral shades right here on the corner. You have a mix of matte shades, 1, 2, 3 matte shades, then what it seems like 2 satin shades, 1 metallic shade. I mean, I'm gonna swatch it in a minute, but let's see. This right here seems like a duochrome or multichrome, I should say, because I can see purple, blue, yep, a little bit of even green at certain points. And if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't follow me, you should. I keep you posted of the new makeup releases in there. If something comes back in stock, if there's an early access, I show you all of those things. And I'm pretty sure I will have a reel with this baby. And I'm planning to do a reel where the sun is hitting directly to the palette. So it's a beauty. Cool Tone palette, nice size mirror. Let's take this protector. Another quick close-up. Oh, honestly, I don't want to swatch it. It looks so pretty, but we have to. And then inside the palette, there's this little insert where you have the name of each of the eyeshadows. And then if you're not familiar with PAT McGrath Mothership palettes, they're all lacquer and they have this metal plate. Definitely an epic design. I'm going to start swatching the palette row by row, top and then bottom. Skin Tense Glow, Rosewood Romantique, Platinum Dusk. Oh, that's gorgeous. VR Sextasy. Oh, that looks wet. Okay, this is not duochrome, it's multichrome. From here, I'm looking at it and it looks hot pink. When I move it, you can see a little bit of blue in it. I mean, it has so much dimension. Astral Gold Last, Extreme Nocturne, Bronze Devotion, Plum Cabaret, Blitz Venice, Astral Lilac Aura. Another astral shade. BK Beauty 201 brush, and I'm gonna take this shade and lightly go above the crease. Scott Barnes number 63 brush. I'm taking this shade and applying it on the outer third of the eyelid, a little bit slanted. Sonia G Builder Pro. Taking this shade on the inner portion of the eyelid. With the other side of Sonia G Builder Pro, I'm going to go to this pinky astral shade, and I'm going to apply it right on the middle of the eyelid. Here is the first eye look, a little bit different, a little bit slanted, a little bit more elongated to just give a little bit more drama to the eyes. So far, all the eyeshadows are behaving really good, at least the ones that I have tried. Very, very lovely. And by the way, if you're wondering why I'm not trying to flash you or highlight this finger, but yesterday I was trying to open a window and my nail clip on it. Thank goodness it didn't, like get into the bed of my nail. But later at night, I was just playing with my youngest daughter and she wanted neon nails, and I decided to try it on this one right here where that nail got, ruined and the nail polish got cheap, and there you have it. That's the story why this nail is highlighted. Nothing bad about it, but there you have it. Let's go for the second eyeshadow look. Scott Barnes number 62 brush. Let's see if I can blend this shade. Doesn't look too muddy. Blending, and by the way, I'm not using a eyeshadow primer but just my concealer. Nothing against eyeshadow primers, just simply the easy of use. Now I'm building up that same shade on the outer third of the eyelid, and I'm also going to take that same shade and applying it on the inner third, and I'm just going to pack it on. It's so darn patchy. So patchy. Let me remove this thing, unless I start it all over again. Let's see, let's try this again. Let's go with a Sigma E55 brush, and I'm gonna go with the deepest shade. And I'm just gonna take it on the outer V in a packing motion. And then also on the inner third. Sonia G Builder Pro, and I'm gonna go to that taupe shade, and I'm gonna apply it on the edge of this deep brown shade. Smith 253 brush, and let's go for this shade, and I'm gonna take this pinky shade and I'm gonna apply it right in the middle, on the center of the eyelid. And then with the tip of the brush, I'm just making it a little bit softer, the edges. ColourPop E20 brush. I honestly do not know if they even make it anymore, but I'm going to the lighter shade and I'm just going to apply it on the inner corner and also on my brow bone. BK Beauty 201 brush and Rosewood Romantic, and I'm taking this shade and applying it above the crease lightly. BK Beauty 203 brush and Plum Cabaret. I'm taking this shade and applying it on the outer third of the eyelid. Smith 253 brush, and I'm going to Blitz Venice, and I'm applying this shade on the inner third of the eyelid. Sonia G Builder Pro and the shade Astral Gold Last, and I'm putting this shade right on the middle of the eyelid. Take my E30 brush and going into Skin Tense Glow, inner corner, brow bone. I'm very curious about this shade, so I'm just gonna grab it with my finger and I'm just gonna dab it right here, kind of like right there, center part, right there. Let's go for the fourth eye look, and I'm gonna do something very simple because I want to try this shade right here pretty much all alone. So I'm gonna go first with this shade with a 201 brush, and the shade is called Rosewood Romantic, and I'm just basically gonna apply it all over the eyelid, but in a very light way, and then going with Astral Lilac Aura and applying it all over the lid. Skin Tense Glow and applying it on my inner corner and on my brow bone. A very ethereal look. You can do this same look with, say, a bronzer and then going with this shade over top, or any matte color. BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy A503 brush, and I'm applying this shade above the crease very lightly. Same brush, and I'm gonna go now to Plum Cabaret. Taking it on the outer third. Sonia G Worker Pro and VR Sextasy. Smith 253 brush and the shade Blitz Venus. BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy 502 brush, and let's go to Extreme Nocturne. Taking it on my outer V. BK Beauty 204 brush. Sonia G Flat Definer and Extreme Nocturne. I'm taking it very close to the lower lash line. Refer 03 brush in the shade Skin Tense Glow. And I'm gonna take it on my inner corner and on my brow bone. I'm going with this pink shade, and I'm just gonna take it right here. Pat McGrath Black Coffee for my waterline. Tone 4 eyeliner. My fifth and last look already done, and now let's just talk about this eyeshadow palette. A few comparisons here and there. Honestly, I do have the entire collection of Pat McGrath, and I just feel like if we're going to go through all of that, it's going to take us another half an hour plus, and I don't think it's necessary. So the first comparison that I wanted to do is from this palette from Pat McGrath, this shade in comparison with this shade from the new eyeshadow palette. So you can tell they are very close. They are these very earthy, deep, super, super deep brown cool tones. Those are perhaps the two shades that they are the most alike. And then Pat McGrath, she always tries to figure out how to give us kind of the same shades, not shame on Pat McGrath, kind of the very alike shades in terms of these burgundy tones. I mean, we see it in so many palettes of her. This is just an example because honestly, they are just so many that we always find these type of shades all the time. Now, the ones that I just swatched, like I said, they are not equal, but they just have that same kind of vibe, playing with that burgundy tone, ox tone, a little bit of that wine tone or rosy tone too. We always see them in a lot of her eyeshadow palettes. Now, a cool tone palette that Pat McGrath launched many years ago is the 6-pan palette, Platinum Bronze. One of my favorite ones. And I'm just going to swatch this shade. So pigmented. Oof. And it's a little bit warmer in tone than the one that we find in Moonlit Seduction. Then we also have these taupey shades that I want to show it to you. These ones, they lean a little bit more green in tone than this shade right here. But these and these, oh wait, these and these, they look so alike. I'm just going to put them together and then on the very top, the other one. Then this shade right here, we always see it somehow on the Mothership palettes. Like for example, on Bronze Seduction. They are not equal, but we always see this kind of like inner corner highlighter type of shade. And then this rose gold shade. Let's see. This one is a little bit more yellowy in tone. And steering away from comparing to other Mothership palettes, I think this new palette reminds me a little bit to Tiny Marbles from Sydney Grace and our lovely Mel Thompson. There's a little bit of a vibe right here, right? I mean, if we go for this shade and this shade, there you go. Let's go for this shade. And this shade. Not equal, but just saying. Right? Now let's try perhaps this shade with marble. And then, I mean, let's go for this multi-chrome and Scarab from Tiny Marbles. Okay, let's see, let's put them down here. Scarab has more of a maroon undertone. A little bit more intense, a little bit more blue in it than the shade that we find in Moonlit Seduction. So what are my thoughts about this new palette from Pat McGrath? It's a lovely palette. It's a beautiful palette. Is there room for improvement? There is. There definitely there is room for improvement. But let's first go for the good things about the palette, right? All the shades, they are beautiful, they are blendable. All the astral shades, these metallic foil shades, they are loud. They do have a lot of pigment, or otherwise they do have a ton of micro glitters that are just extremely light reflecting, that they just look like if your eyelids are wet. Fantastic. Also the matte shades, they blend super, super beautiful, with the exception of this deep shade right here. You were able to see on, I was trying to do a little bit of a blend and it just didn't win. And it's not the quality of the eyeshadow, it's the technique. And I explain it, I think perhaps you have already watched my review, the new Gucci eyeshadow palette. They also have this very deep brown shade, and you need to pack it. It's not a shade that is meant to be for blending, and technique is super important because sometimes we can be very harsh on an eyeshadow palette in general for one shade that is like, oh, this eyeshadow palette is patchy, it's not worth it, blah blah blah, right? It's not that. Sometimes it's also the technique that we're using. If we're not using an eyeshadow primer, if we're using a packing brush, all those things have to do a lot with that. So in general, all the pigmentation, everything right here is beautiful. The color story is very interesting and cool tone, love. I mean, like, you can do so many eye looks. In fact, like, you can use this taupey tone all over the eyelid and pretty much call it a day, and perhaps even just put this shade over here that has a little bit of translucency. It kind of just creates kind of this wet glow on the eyes that just looks, again, wet. It's a very transformative shade. You can do all of that. Now, in terms of improvement right here, I mean, there's nothing that it can change this palette, but I feel like it is too redundant to have these two shades. Although they are different tones, at the end, if you pack these or these, they will end up give you a very alike look. So I think with one was more than enough. Now, why I think Pat McGrath uses a lot of these shades, you can find them in pretty much every single one of her eyeshadow palettes, is because it's a shade that really caters for many skin tones, for those who are very light skin tones and for those who have super rich complexions. This type of burgundy ox kind of tone complements, again, many skin tones. Not only that, it is the base shade of this multi-dimensional eyeshadow. It just is a multi-chrome that is gorgeous. So it already has that base, so it makes sense to have at least one of these. But two, I just feel that it's just like too redundant, too much of the same. Another thing is we have two gold shades. Now, both of these gold shades, they are different. I will say, well, perhaps just leave this right here. But then this other one, again, I just don't see the whys. I think she could have literally go, this shade over here has a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue. She could have perhaps give us some blue. Or on the opposite side, we do have a taupey tone right here. She could have give us another kind of like platinum green kind of shade and just give it a little bit more variation. Not only that, I feel like this shade right here is very repetitive on pretty much every single on her Mothership eyeshadow palettes. I would rather have had a brown tone, and I know you're gonna be like, so boring. Yes, but I think because of the nature of the eyeshadow palette, she could have given us a kind of like neutral tone brown shade. I think one of the best cool tone eyeshadow palettes was done by Natasha Denona on her Glam palette. Very boring, and you do have pinks and you do have taupey shades and you do have platinum shades, you have golden tones, and you have plenty of matte shades. Again, you see this shade right here, but then she gives us this shade that is blend, and it actually helps to blend other shades within the palette, even a cool tone. I mean, there's so many variations, and she did an incredible job. I'm talking about Pat McGrath now with Platinum Bronze, giving us this amazing cool tone palette, very compact with, again, a little bit of an aubergine color, a little bit of purple. If it wasn't a blue, if it wasn't a green, perhaps a purple tone could have been really nice on a matte. Definitely, this palette in general is a really beautiful palette. I have a lot of fun using it, and I think that if you're eyeing it, go ahead. I mean, It's very pretty. It's a different take. It is different enough from other eyeshadow palettes from Pat McGrath. It's not equal to any of her Divine Rose eyeshadow palettes. I think it's lovely, but definitely I feel like there was room for, you know, something else, something even a little bit more exciting. But at the same time, I have to think on she has to also cater, not that she has to, but brands sometimes they also have to cater to the general public. There's those people that they are very adventurous with color, and some people that they are not. Therefore, I think she found right here a balance between being adventurous with this shade over here or even this shade over here, but then she played it very safe on all the other shades. So anyhow, friends, I think the palette, I like it. It's something that, yes, I will recommend it. I mean, like, all the shades, they were fantastic blendability. There was a little bit of fallout with the astral shades, which is normal because at the end they are always kind of like chunky glitters. That is normal. For the matte shades, I really didn't have much fallout at all. Very easy to clean, if any. And the star of the show is this shade over here. It just looks so wet, so vibrant, and so amazing. And then, believe it or not, this shade, although you may feel like, what I use it for, because there's so much translucency. I think again it's a transformative shade, and I think those are really, really fun to have on any eyeshadow palette. Okay, my friends, and now I'd love to know from you, have you picked up this new eyeshadow palette from Pat McGrath? Is it in your wish list? Have you already got it? You have already tried it? How you're liking it? Let's just continue the conversation on the comment section down below. While you're at it, and if you haven't done so yet, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads, and come and follow me on my Instagram. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, share with family and friends. And until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.